Alright guys, JH6 and I appreciate you guys watching. So I'm going to talk about a situation that I had about 10 years ago. December 22nd of 2004, we actually found ourselves, my squad, in Iraq, and we faced 4 different incidents. First one, right in front of my truck, we hit an IED strike. It was a 107 round as far as I know. And I got to tell you guys, if the trigger man would have waited 4 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds, would have had, the bomb would have had detonated right below me as we driving. I mean, it was like right in front of me. Shook the truck pretty good, and but thanks to the Lord, I'm still here, and I thank God for that. But with that being said, that was the first incident. The second one was actually we engaged a car, or it was a truck, because proper escalation of force and other aspects that count to that story. But we engaged a truck. The third one is going to be actually a car bomb. And what happened was, and I could talk about this incident right here for 3 days, but what happened was that, a car parked to the side, waited for the perfect target, and eventually took off against the convoy and hit about 2 trucks in front of me, I believe. 2-3 trucks maybe. And it was a car bomb, guys. It hit a truck with 7 Marines inside, and it was a lot of people that were wounded, and it was a lot of really bad things that happened because of that. Now, that truck burned so much that 24 hours later, the truck was still burning because it was an engineered truck, so it had a lot of C4 inside, and apparently the C4 burns. I didn't know that at the point, but it was really bad. It was really bad, and some Marines got really hurt, and I wish I could talk to those guys. I just don't know where they're at. So I hope if they ever watch this video, December 22nd, 2004, I hope you guys are doing well, the guys that survived. But either way, right after that, we actually had, a sergeant that shot himself. So you ask, how did that happen? How did a sergeant, United States Marine Corps actually shot himself? Like, he actually blew his kneecap off. And the question to that, guys, I don't really know the proper answer to that question, but it's just safety. Some guys are coming to the point that they think that they're better than everybody else, and they don't humble themselves. You have to humble yourself to a situation where you need to inspect yourself. And I talked about this a couple of videos ago, inspections. You need to inspect yourself. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you think you're better than everybody else, that's when you're going to have issues. That's when you're going to make mistakes. Because let's face this issue right now. We made mistakes. It happens. We are not perfect. If you think you're perfect, you definitely have some issues. But we are not perfect. We're going to make mistakes on every single aspect of our life. We're going to forget to close the front door. One day it's going to happen. One day we're going to leave our car keys inside the car. One day we're going to show up to work late because something happened. We're always going to make a mistake. The question is, what are you going to do to make sure you don't make those mistakes? How are you going to mitigate those mistakes? What are you going to put in place to make sure you don't make those mistakes? And I got to tell you guys, I talked about 2 days ago, inspections. Inspecting yourself. Making sure that your gear, when it comes to firearm, your gear, your firearms, and things like that are well taken care and are inspected to the standards that you want. And that's what happened to this guy. This guy wasn't paying attention. He wasn't paying attention. His gear wasn't well inspected. He was just, I can't really tell you what he was just doing, because he was about 20 trucks in front of me. I heard it over the radio, and then when we went there, he shot himself. But the question is here, he wasn't paying attention. He didn't inspect his gear to make sure his firearm was safe, or safety on, safety off, things like that. Because if you're inside a truck, you're going to have your firearm with the safety on. And we're talking about an M4, M16, whatever he was carrying. The moment that he walked outside the truck, took the safety off. I don't know what was the point. I know he shot himself inside the truck. So I'm sure that when he came back in the truck, either he forgot to put his gun on safe, back on safe or something. He did something wrong. He wasn't paying attention. He wasn't doing the right thing. I guess my point to this video, guys, is that even Marines, you know, that are highly trained, that we spend thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of money to train them, made those kind of mistakes. So a basic guys that barely take any training, that barely have any muscle memory built, you know, on the firearm skills, is probably highly, and I'm just gonna say highly, highly to make more mistake than that guy. So I know some of you guys are gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna make mistakes. Well, if you've been handling firearms for 30 years, you definitely experienced, guys. 10 to 30 years, you have a lot of experience. This video probably is not for you, but now don't think that you're better than everybody else. You always have to have those inspections, and you always have to be safe. You always got to be thinking about it until you develop that muscle memory. You know, I see guys here on YouTube all the time thinking that they're better than everybody else and thinking that they don't make mistakes. If you find yourself in that situation where you think you're better than everybody else and you're not going to listen, you're going to make mistakes too. You're just going to cover it up so people don't see them. But you're going to make mistakes. I was in the Marine Corps for almost 12 years, and some of the best ideas came from the lower guys. Some of the worst idea came from the lower guys as well. But it went the other way up too as well. You know, some of the guys that were in the Marine Corps 25 years, some of their ideas were just like unbelievable. Like, really? And then at the same time, they had great ideas. So my point to this guy is like, don't be thinking that you're better than everybody else. Be humble. Inspect your gear. You know, don't get into a mindset that you're better than everybody else and you don't make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. You may shoot yourself in some type of situation. You know, this guy was lucky. He blew his kneecap off. He could have killed a Marine inside that truck. It was, I believe it was 3 Marines inside that truck. Additional 3 Marines in that truck. So he could have killed somebody. So luckily, he just shot himself. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Share the channel. Share the video. And as always, God is in control.